Hello, hello. Welcome back to Limits. And man, I miss Gran and and Dave. Like, I don't know, the polar bear and the lion Pierre. Pierre's the name of the lion, right? Oppenheimer. And I don't remember the polar bear's name. Yup. I don't know. I kind of yeah, those two don't really stand out to me. But Gran's a cutie. And I don't know. There's something about Dave. I don't know. I kind of like him. Let's just get in there. You fell into a slumber. Keep it up. The next day, you slowly wake up from your slumber as your eyes steadily open themselves. You can see the sunlight streams through the open drapes of the window. You sat up and stretched your stiff body. You never realized it, but yesterday's ordeal seems to have taken quite a toll on you. Ah, I'm still here. You gave out a yawn as you tried to steadily regain your bearings. You gently open your curtains around you. No one is here. What time is it? You slowly scan the room in search of a device that tells the time. It's 7:26 a.m.? Damn. I actually can't remember the last time I saw that time. I've seen 6 a.m. I fell asleep at around that time earlier this week, but 6? I mean 7:30? Who's she? I don't even know. When is Oppenheimer going to come? I should probably wash up before then. You jump out off the bed and quickly clean up. There wasn't much to do other than folding up the blanket and tidying the cover of the bed. Once the task is done, you finally realize something. Wait. How come I can hear birds chirping? One moment. I don't know. It looked like the audio was a bit low. So, for the game audio anyway. So it's kind of want people to hear a little bit of it. So I can get a copyright claim on this royalty-free soundtrack. I thought bird people exist here. You briskly walk up towards one of the windows. In the distance, you were able to see a couple of little birds flying in the air. This world makes no sense. You heard the sound of a door opening. You turned around and you were able to see the polar bear slowly revealing himself. The polar bear stood by the door while holding it open as he proceeded to talk to you. Norman, that's his name. Right. Norm of the North. I got it. Yeah. Ah, you're awake. Good. Morning, Chief. Good morning to you too, Tan. Did you sleep okay? I think so. I'm a bit sore though, not gonna lie. Ah, I see. Well, I came over to tell you that Mr. Oppenheimer will be picking you up in about half an hour. Are you ready? I'm going to need a bit of time to wash. At least as much as I can anyway. Did you bring a toothbrush with you? Yes, a friend gave this small kit for me yesterday. That's nice. Don't let me keep you. Don't let me keep you. You can be on your way. Take care, Dan. The polar bear gave you a small wave of goodbye before closing the door behind him. Half an hour should be plenty of time to get ready. Let's get to it then. Since you weren't in any particular rush, you took your sweet time walking towards the bathroom. You spent the next 20 minutes cleaning up as much as you can and taking care of your business. Once you're done, you got yourself into the reception room to wait for the lion to come. As you approach the front desk, you notice a familiar figure. Good morning, Jacob. I didn't know that you worked the front desk in the morning. Oh, it's you again, Dan. Well, I didn't know that you stayed the night either. So, I guess we both learned something new today. Also, it's not like you've been here that long either. How would you know anyway? The weasel grinned as he gave you the retort. He seemed to be all pleased by himself. I can't argue with that. But weren't you just working the front desk last night? Oh, that? That was just temporary. I was just covering for someone else for an hour or two. Went home afterwards. That makes sense. Honestly, I thought you already left home. I thought you already left home before I got off. Yet you're still here. What are you, an intern or something? Or are you still in some trouble? Don't bother answering, though. You're probably still not comfortable enough to share it based on your yesterday's reaction. Well, Before you were able to start your sentence, the front door swings open. Both yours and the weasel's attention was caught by the sound. From outside emerged the intimidating lion from yesterday. His face is still the same as you remember, focused and unflinching. You notice that he seemed to also be carrying a black folder with him. A black folder? Oh, spiffy. Just gonna move the microphone a bit. Hope that's okay. His silver eyes meet with yours as he slowly strolled towards you. Good morning to you, Mr. York. Mr. Francis York Morgan. It is my pleasure to see you again. Man, why is he so formal? Good morning to you, Mr. Oppenheimer. So, have you given my yesterday's offer more thought? Yes, I think I'll be going with you today. As you responded to his question, you could visibly see a glint in those silver eyes as they lit up. Excellent. You were surprised by his sudden happy reaction. Is it a relief that you were willing to bestow some of your trust to me, Mr. York? I was afraid that you might have decided to refuse the offer. Why is it such a big deal, though? The lion regains his composure. Now that I have heard of your answer, could you please sign this form so we may depart for the research facility? What kind of form are you talking here? Let me show you. The lion gingerly opens his folder and took out a piece of paper. He then proceeds to hand it to you. Here. From the looks of it, it appears to be a form of some kind. Upon closer inspection, however, there is a word written in it that has caught your attention. Wait. Temporary guardian? Yes. If you sign this form, I will be able to become your temporary guardian for the day. But why, though? Why do I need to sign this? This is absurd. Well, you are still in probation, are you not? I have not been told by Mr. Forsberg that you are forbidden to leave the building without any supervision from this department. I have been told, yeah. And as you probably can see that I am not part of this facility, therefore I am unable to bring you with me, yes? Fortunately, I have discussed the matter with Mr. Forsberg yesterday, and we have come to an arrangement. If you agree to let me be your temporary guardian for the day, then I shall be able to accompany you to the research facility. How does that work, though? It is a rather complicated topic. I would rather avoid talking about it if you don't mind me, Mr. York. Honestly, I'm not that excited to dwell into the politics and laws of this world either. He seems to have done the research, though, so it should be fine. What have I got to lose, anyway? You know what? Fine, I'll sign the form. But just to be clear, it only lasts for 1 day, right? Yes, this form clearly states that its effects will last for today only. Unless, of course, you would like to extend it. The lion gave you a wink as he smiled at you, his silver gaze still boring into your eyes. Huh? Why is he looking at me like that? Man, everyone's just so horny for you in this game. You couldn't help but blush under his scrutinizing gaze. What? I'm only joking, Mr. York. I apologize. Oh, right. I knew that. Do you have a pen with you, Mr. Oppenheimer? Ah, yes. My apologies. Here. The lion pulls out a black pen from his trousers pocket and handed it to you. Man, this pen looks expensive. Thank you. The lion gave you a curt nod. Let's see. So all I need to do is sign my name down here. That would be correct. You walked towards the nearest wall and held the paper on it. You gave the form another quick read, and you noticed that there's the chief's signature on the bottom of the page, right next to the lion's. Okay, I guess the chief is fine with this then. You wrote down your signature on the paper. This feels weird. It's like I just signed my life away to a stranger that I've only met yesterday. Oh wait, that's literally what just happened. This is rational, right? Well, it's done. Here, you can take them back. You return the form and the pen to its rightful owner. The lion happily receives them back, and he packed them away. Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. York. Shall we depart now, then? Actually, if you wouldn't mind, could you give me a few minutes? Of course. I shall wait for you outside the police department, then. The lion gave you a nod and then proceeded to excuse himself out of the building. Ahem. I'm still here, you know. The weasel chimed in, which in turn gave you a jump. Oh, right. Kind of forgot that you're still here. Sheesh, kid. Ouch. Anyway, you must be quite the big shot to have that guy calling you mister and stuff. Who are you, really? The weasel gave you a questioning look as he leans forward. I'm nobody, don't worry about it. With a sigh, the weasel returned back to his previous position. If you say so. Hey, Jacob, do you mind if I borrow the intercom to contact the chief? I'd like to tell him that I'm going soon. Oh, sure, no biggie. Come over. You thanked him as you made your way over to the desk. Just press this button, and you should be connected to the chief's intercom. Okay. You press the button. Hello? Is this the chief? Dan, is that you? Yes. It's me. I just wanted to let you know that I'll be leaving with Mr. Oppenheimer soon. Oh, you've decided to, agree to go then? That's good, I suppose. Well, take care then. Yeah, you too, Chief. Thanks, Jacob. I'll be on my way now. Alright, take care. The two of you waved each other goodbye as you made your way towards the exit. Oh, and Jacob. Give my thanks to Steve, and tell him I said hi. And I heard about your story. All I can say is that I feel you, man. See ya. As you stepped outside the building, you couldn't help but notice how calm and peaceful your surrounding is. In the distance, you could see the lion standing patiently outside the gate, the sun reflecting off his fur. Man, he looks so photogenic. Does he? I don't know. I mean, it's just Pierre. Like, the sound of the closing door seemed to have alerted his attention, as he is now looking at you with a gentle smile on his face. He stared at you, and you made your way towards the lion. I hope everything is well, Mr. York. Yeah, I just wanted to tell the chief that I'll be going. How considerate of you. Well, let's not dally then, Mr. York. Shall we? Oh, yeah, sure. But how are we going to get there, exactly? By that. The lion points to the distance, but from where you are having difficulty trying to see what he was pointing at due to the bright sun blaring at you. The lion seemed to be picked up on this and as he proceeds to position himself in front of you, shielding you from the sun. Is that better, Mr. York? Ah, yes, thank you. He's a bit close, but now I can see what he was pointing at. Is that? In the distance, you spotted a black vehicle parked by the sideways. A limo? Yes, it is. Now let us go. The lion briskly walks ahead of you towards the car. Since you didn't want to get left behind, you followed along. As you approach the car, you were able to notice how expensive the vehicle is simply just by brushing it, basing it on the looks alone. The black carbon skin of the car and the tinted glass look to be quite sturdy themselves. I have a feeling that you are bulletproof too. Man, he's rich. The lion opened the door for you. After you, Mr. York. Thanks. After you got into the car and observed your surroundings, you couldn't help but feel intimidated. This is way out of my league. I'm scared that I'm going to break something. Where should I sit? There are quite a few selections here. Maybe I'll sit next to the window. You took a seat by the window. Shortly after, the lion would come over and sit relatively close to you. Are there literally empty seats everywhere, and he chooses to sit next to me? Well, it is his car after all. This is his right. The lion reaches over to the button nearby and presses it. Let's go. Seconds later, you could hear the sounds of the engine starting before the vehicle began moving forward. Do you own this car, Mr. Oppenheimer? Oh no, I'm simply borrowing it for the day. I have not got any vehicle in this town, so I had to ask for some assistance. Wow, the company he works for must be really rich. I made sure that I borrowed this vehicle since I was picking up the son of York with me. That's a bit showy. You didn't have to go this far. I would have been fine if you had gone and picked me up with a regular car. Or any other vehicle that could fit at least 2 persons, for that matter. The first impression is everything, Mr. York. But I'll keep that in mind for the future. Can't say that I disagree with the first impression bit. Why is he trying hard to impress me, though? Did he have to pay for any of this, then? No. I've been given permission to borrow for free as long as I can take responsibility for them. That's a real neat perk to have, I guess. You must be pretty important, then, Mr. Oppenheimer. I suppose. Try not to dwell on that for too much, though. Just treat me as you would yourself, and we both should get along just well. I'll try to. The two of you sat silently in the car for a few minutes before the lion spoke. So, you've told me that you've got an orb with you. Is that true? Yes. Here, let me show you. You pull out the orb from your pocket and positioned it on top of your palm. Its color is still jaded. The lion's eyes widen at the sight. Interesting. Do you know what it does? No. I tried to ask my friend about it, and he didn't seem to know much either. I honestly don't see what the big deal is with this thing. It looks just like an oversized marble to me. That orb you're holding. Would you like to learn more about it? Do you know more about them? Why, of course. It's not something that is kept secret to the public here. Then yes. Please tell me more. To put it simply, these orbs have the capacity to grant their users enhanced abilities. With a cost. Abilities? You mean like super strength? More or less. It can also act as a buffer or a storage unit for their wielders. Not everyone is compatible to use them, so there are a limited amount of orb users in the world, at least as far as I'm concerned. That's crazy talk. I don't know, this just sounds a bit absurd, honestly. How is that even possible anyway? How could these small-sized orbs even able to grant such powers? I feel that you are understanding this the wrong way, Mr. York. The orb does not directly give powers by themselves. I suppose you could say that the current term for them is converters. Creating something out of nothing is simply impossible. That must always be an equal amount of value for the exchange. Energies aren't created out of nothing. There's just how the laws of physics work. I guess it's safe to say that physics works similarly here as well. I get that, but I still don't quite understand. What do you mean by converters? Well, it converts the wielder's assets, for instance, their energy, and converts them into a power base on the orb. Each orb has its own set of functionality, based on their color. Although, even if two orbs are the same color, it doesn't necessarily mean that their attributes are the same. I suppose you can think of these orbs as printers, where you need to insert paper and ink into them to be able to use them. You've seen printers before, right? Yes, we have those back in my world. Good. Back to the point then. What makes these printers to be unique is that they each can only print a certain thing based on their color and attribute. Do you understand? I guess. It's not crazy to think that something this powerful is this accessible to the public. I've got another question, though. Where did these orbs come from? They're not artificially manufactured, are they? They are artificially manufactured. that's yeah, okay. That just seems like a weird phrasing. Like, a human invented them a long time ago, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not very knowledgeable with the history of the orbs, so take it with a grain of salt. Then doesn't that mean people can simply just create a powerful one at will? Isn't that dangerous? The nature of the orb is quite tricky. You can't really tell what its attributes until after you are bonded with them. Not to mention the great cost of activating one. So I suppose it's safe to say that it would be terribly difficult to obtain a very powerful orb. Unless you are very lucky, of course. But then couldn't someone just steal the orb after they got activated? I feel like that's plausible. These orbs cannot be used by anyone else except the one who first activated it. At least as far as I'm concerned. Although, I suppose they can still be stolen by someone even if they know full well that it will not function for them. They may have varied reasons. So try your best to keep them safe. You can only bond with so many orbs before it kills you. Kills me? Yes. These orbs have killed a lot of their users. I mentioned that there is a cost to using these orbs, didn't I? And I really mean it. Yes, but I didn't think that it could kill you. I thought that you just needed to rest for a while or something before being able to use them again. No. They will kill you if not handled properly. Every orb users are different in terms of how much they can take before succumbing to death's embrace. So please, try to understand your limits, Mr. York. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. You know, we're only moving in circles. It's a power that shouldn't really be relied on. A lot of people didn't get that, unfortunately. But it's like a double-edged sword. Exactly. You look back at the jaded orb sitting in the palm of your hand. You gently fiddle with it using your thumb, rolling it across the surface. This little thing has the power to kill, huh? This is just a gun, isn't it? This is really absurd. You gave out a weak, nervous chuckle. Limits. I feel like I've heard someone say that somewhere recently before. Was that just a dream? Oh well, why does this matter anyway? It's not like I'll be fighting anyone in this peaceful town. I guess I can keep it around with me for safekeeping. I wonder what mine does. Hey, Mr. Oppenheimer, I've got another question. Yes, what is it? What does... Before you were able to start your sentence, the car abruptly stopped in its tracks. We have arrived at the destination, sir. Ah, yes, thank you. Apologies, Mr. York. We'll have to hold that question for later. Come on, let us go. All right. We've arrived at what you assume to be the research institute that the Lion has mentioned. It's a tall structure with a state of the art designs. Okay. You can see plenty of creatures coming in and out of the building. You notice that some are staring directly towards you, while a few give you a passing glance before continuing on their way. Why are they staring at me specifically? You tried your best to ignore the feeling of being watched and instead focus your attention on your new surroundings. There, in the middle of the pathway, stands a big cube ornament with a sign that reads, Limits Inc. You turn over to see the Lion speaking to the driver of the limo. Yes, I will contact you once we are done here. Thank you again. The Lion gave a small wave towards the driver before the car left the vicinity. What do you think, Mr. York? Wow, this place is massive. It is. It's not as big as the one back home, though. That's even bigger? Damn. Also, I noticed that the sign says Limits Inc. Is that the company you're working with? That would be correct. Wow, what do they do? We're a pharmaceutical company by trade, but the CEO has been investing in research regarding the orb since not too long ago. So, you guys make medicines and cures? More or less. Okay. I get the feeling that he's not telling me everything. Oh well. So, how long have you been working here? Or at least, with the company? For the majority of my life. What? What do you mean by that exactly? I shall tell you about it later. For now, let us proceed inside so that we may begin the task we came here to do, yes? Lead the way then. The Lion gave you a curt nod before turning his tail and walking towards the building. On your way towards the entrance of the Institute, you couldn't help but overhear a passing conversation. Wow, look at that lion. What's that kid doing with him? Isn't he the... There's no way. What reason could he have to come here, anyway? Could just be the wrong guy, then. Keep your voice down. The door that leads inside slid open. Sorry, I kind of like the way this looks. Yeah. Looks good. I like it. As you took your first step inside the building, you couldn't help but feel the sudden drop in temperature. Ugh, it's freezing in here. Try to get used to it while we are here, Mr. York, because the temp will only get colder. Seriously? Kinda wish that I had a jacket with me. If it really bothers you that much, I'll see if I can find something to that'll help keep you warm. Oh no. It's fine, I'll just deal with it. Perhaps. The lion shifts his position as he looks at you. Never mind. What's gotten into him? Let us continue. The two of you made your way towards the reception desk with you tailing behind him. The lion abruptly stops, causing you to almost crash into his back. Yikes, that was close. Please, wait here while I talk with the desk person. With the desk person? Okay. That doesn't seem like a very formal way to refer to somebody. But okay, Mr. Oppenheimer. You gave him a curt nod before the lion left you for the desk, a few meters away from where you are standing. You were unsure on what to do, so you simply stood still while gazing at the creature passing by. You have yet to see a single human in the sea of creatures here. How rare are humans here? A few minutes of idly standing around until the lion returned back to you with a smile. Apologies for the wait, Mr. York. I've scheduled for your appointment, and it'll be in another hour. Have you eaten yet? No. I didn't expect, I don't exactly have any money on me to buy anything. Then how about we get ourselves some breakfast? It'll be my treat. Yeah, I'd like that. Thank you. Free food. Then let us go. I've been told that there's a cafeteria nearby. I believe it's this way. Follow me if you please. You follow the lion while making sure that you are walking side by side to avoid any unforeseen accidents. Have you been here before, Oppenheimer? I don't believe I have. I've never been to Ironhaven before. At least as far as I remember. That makes sense then. Dave did tell me that you weren't sure where to find the police department. Are you a friend of his? I guess. We've only met the other day, so I can't really say. In any case, that dragon is a nice man. You are pretty lucky to have encountered him, Mr. York. Yeah. He's also a real good cook, you know? Really? That's commendable. Cooking is quite an art form, don't you think? No. I mean, I like cooking, it's fun, but it's like... Man, eating just feels like such a waste of time. Like, you feel me? Like... I feel like for me, I either eat food that is, like, quick, the base amount of whatever, just to get me through the day, or I want something, like, extravagant to, like, make the... Oh, how do I word this? Like, I either want, like, bare minimum, it fulfills the purpose of keeping my body going, because that's what its function is, and I don't care. But if I am going to eat because I want it to be, like, extravagant. Like, you feel me? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm weird. Everyone always makes fun of me for that, where I'm like, ugh, eating's such a waste of time. You eat, then you have to shit, and it's like, that's more time. And then there's sleeping, and sleeping feels like a gigantic waste of time. Until you just, like, collapse from not sleeping, which hasn't happened to me, I swear. In a way, I think it is. Although, I can't really say any more than that. It's not that I'm not that good a cook. I mean, I can cook decent, but when compared to Dave's, there's just no competition, honestly. I see. Well, we're here, so let's grab ourselves something to eat, shall we? You've arrived at the cafeteria section of the building. It's occupied a small portion of the whole structure, with tables and chairs neatly placed in front of a long buffet. The place itself isn't that busy, as you were able to see a small group of creatures scattered all over the cafeteria. You've noticed that the line of the buffet is rather empty. That's a pretty long buffet. It really is. Oh well, let us see what they have in store. I believe the line starts from here. The two of you made your way towards the beginning of the buffet. The lion flashes what appears to be an ID card at the canine lady holding down the stalls. This young man is with me. The lion gave you an appointed look. Yes, of course, Mr. Oppenheimer. Feel free to take as much as you'd like. Take care. Well, Mr. York, you heard the nice lady. Here, grab yourself a plate. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Once you are done, you may pass the dirty plates to me, all right? Enjoy your breakfast. Of course, thank you. The two of you walked along the buffet, inspecting and picking up the dishes that caught your interest. What, I don't get to choose? I don't get the fake options like in like an echo. I really love that scene at the beginning of Flynn's route where you get to like choose your meal, but the decision doesn't matter like at all. So you get to choose like your drink and your meal and your side, and I'm just like 10 out of 10. I love that this doesn't matter, but that I get to choose. There's a lot of food here that don't look too different than the food back home. I think I'll just get something simple. After a few minutes of collecting food, the two of you made your way towards an empty table and took a seat. The lion sat on the opposite of you, with a stack of poultry meat sitting on his plate and a mug of tea. That's a lot of meat. Well, I'm quite hungry today. I have yet to have breakfast. Why didn't you? It's not because of me, is it? Don't fret. I am not blaming you for my lack of breakfast, Mr. York. Simply figured that it might as well have breakfast with you instead. Mr. Forsberg would have fed you something to eat, but it's not every day that you get to eat with the York's family member. Why do you keep saying that? How special is the York name around here? I shall reveal more to you later once we have verified your DNA. Ugh, fine. Thank you for treating me for free food, though. I honestly wouldn't know what to do. You're welcome, Mr. York. But I believe you would have been fine considering that Mr. Forsberg is your caretaker. I doubt that gentleman would leave you starving while you are under his facility. Yeah, you're right. He's been really considerate to me. Not to mention, pretty lenient too. Everyone has their reasonings. Huh? What do you mean? If you were under my care, things would have been different. What? Forget what I said, Mr. York. Let's eat, shall we? What does he mean by that? Right, let's eat. The two of you spent the remainder of the time eating and occasionally chatting with each other. You notice that he's eating with such a what is this word? Oh, mate. You know what? I want to know what that word is. I'm gonna grab my phone, which is just out of arm's reach, which sucks. So I have to. Okay. Grabu. Okay. Put my phone down, grab my headphones back, put them on. I don't know. There. Come on, phone. Okay. What is this? What is this word? Alacrity. What is this? Brisk and cheerful readiness.
Alacrity.
What is this word? Brisk and cheerful readiness. I don't. What is the origin of this word? I wish it told me.
Alacrity.
Alacrity. Okay. Sure. We'll go with that for now, but only for now. He ate using the utensils with such skill that he barely laid a finger on his food. You also talked about the procedure that you are going to have to do later for the appointment, and from what you've gathered so far, it seems to be quite similar to what you've already done back in the police department. Once the two of you finished, you returned the dirty plates and glasses to the canine lady, bidding her a thank you and a goodbye afterwards. Do you feel better now, Mr. York? Yeah, thanks for that. The lion gave you a smile before he pulls out a small device from his trousers pocket. It looks like we have a few minutes left before the appointment. Let's make haste and get there before we are late, Mr. York. I'm assuming you know the way. Yes, if you'll follow me. The two of you left the cafeteria and headed towards the scheduled appointment. Along the way, you noticed that the traffic to the Institute has increased quite considerably. Some were looking towards your direction, but the majority seemed to have their attention towards your temporary guardian. Before long, a figure approached the two of you. Are you the Oppenheimer? Yes, yes. Is there anything I can help you with? We're in a bit of a hurry here. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, but can I have your autograph, sir? I'm a big fan of yours. The feminine deer took out her notebook and pen. Why, thank you. Here. Now, if you'll excuse us. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Come on, Mr. York. Let's pick up the pace. What was that about? You've got fans? You could say that. You must be quite a famous figure, huh? Maybe I'll tell you about it in the future. For now, let's get to our appointment. Yes. With a shrug, you continued following the line. A couple minutes more of walking, and you both stopped in front of a door. I believe this is the place. Let's get inside. As the two of you entered the room, you noticed that the temperature got even colder. This place is an ice museum. I think this is a good place to cut it here as we get to the lab. Is that a human? Is this a human? What? Sir. Okay. But yeah, this was cute, I guess. I don't know, I'm still kind of like on Pierre. Like, I don't know. He's just kind of boring. Yeah. I don't know. I guess tell me if you like Pierre. Like, what do you like about him? Is it because he's formal? And then he's nice? Is it because he's buff? Everyone in this is buff, though. So, like, I don't know how much of a plus that is, but... yeah, see you around.